Hey, great day, great evening, great, amazing month, year. Times are awesome right now. I actually want to get your attention for a moment, really for the next few minutes, to talk about a very important technology that so many people are struggling to understand, struggling to even pay attention to because they think, you know what? It's really not something that I'm familiar with or I'm used to. I want to really stay centered on the traditional way we do business. Unfortunately, the world is turning really fast, and the future technologies are now technologies, right? Back in 2020, around the pandemic time when everybody was pretty much at home, I think a lot more people paid attention to the internet. You had an opportunity to learn about things that you probably just passed right by, didn't see as important, didn't think it affected you because, oh, that's online, that's some kind of technology. Look, I'm a hardworking person. I get up every day, I go to my office, I go to my shop, I work in order to earn. And, that's an honest way to do things, honest way to make money, honest way to take care of yourself and take care of your community, your family, everybody that you're responsible for. Nothing but respect for people to do that. We all should do that. But some people, they call millennials, some they call Gen X, they call people that forward thinkers, trendsetters, trend fronters. There are people that see beyond the today. There are people that have vision, right? And they create things for tomorrow. I'm gonna give you a quick example of that, just to give it to the traditional people that haven't really ventured into the topic. I'm gonna give you a traditional example of visionaries. One person named Jeff Bezos, you probably know him. He is the founder of Amazon. When Jeff Bezos was looking to start a business and to really dominate in that industry, you know what he did? This is vision in its best sense. Jeff Bezos decided everybody else out there selling something online that may have some success, may not have some success. There are people out there that build businesses. There are people that have created subscription models, but who has done it in a different way that made sense, that really catered to the people? And so what he did, he basically said, look, I have a great idea. I don't have the money, but I got a great idea. One, I can sell books online and I can basically get people that have books sitting on their shelves at home and offer them for sale. Hey, look, there's no upfront investment. Why? Because you're just crowd funding people's books, so to speak, or pooling people's power together so they can offer their books on your platform. So you create the platform and others sell the books. Great example of, I don't need any money to start this business, right? Got a computer, got a network, and people start selling used books. Pretty interesting, huh? That was one thing that he did. But what revolutionized his financial status, like took him, to the top 3, 4, or 5, as the richest people in the world, was what he did was he said, I can create a subscription model for this platform. I only have a vision and I need you to invest in it. That's all he was. He didn't go out and say, look, like some, people out there that had family that basically bailed him out of bankruptcy, family that fronted him $1 billion. He didn't have that from the beginning. He had some knowledge and he had vision. And so he actually said, wait a minute. I see what's going on the landscape. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a subscription model called Prime, and I'm going to offer this to the audience. I'm going to offer it to the people because people like to, if we can get them something in one place and they can order online, that's kind of the trending thing. You've already created an Amazon marketplace. So now he's creating a subscription model and he's making that subscription model way better than anything else. He didn't launch it though. This is what's so brilliant. He actually went out and got investors in the bigger vision. He said, this is going to be $1 billion company. Who would have seen a subscription model take any company to $1 billion? They had to have his vision, because a lot of people don't have that vision. But you have investors that's looking for a great return. And so they're looking for something unique, something that could be profitable, and they want to see a return for their money over the next year or 2 years. And so that's what Jeff Bezos did. He created Prime subscription model, and he really developed that over time to a point where you could get your order that same day. Like nobody else does that, right? So I'm just saying, when you talk about somebody that has vision and they could see well beyond where everybody else could see, and so many people, they did believe in him, they did invest in him. And that is why the Amazon business model is really the archetype of vision and visionary and trend setting, right, in this space. So I shift a little bit, pivot to our topic, right? What everybody, what all of us, what anybody and everybody who's somebody should know about blockchain, crypto, and the technology behind it. This is the future of everything that you know right now. You really want to know this. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an investor, if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, if you are a parent, if you are a child, if you are somebody in IT, real estate, insurance, any business out there, this is for you. I want to present a very brief course on blockchain, crypto, and the future of this technology and why it's important to you. I want to give you clarity. I want to give you opportunity. I want to bring you into this space the right way, but I'm going to give you a lot of evidence to why this is so important to every individual around the globe, not just the US, not just Asia, not just, China, Russia, Middle East, South America, North America, Canada, Alaska, not just one place, but for everyone that handles transactions, period. And that's anybody that breathes. You know what I mean? So without further ado, I'm gonna try to do this in about 15 minutes because I don't want to keep you too long, because I know that this is something that's very important. This is very valuable. And a lot of people out there in my community have asked so many different questions along the way. And I said, you know what, let me repackage all this information and give you really key points. There's so much more to this, but I'm gonna give you key points, key highlights, and overview of sorts of the key aspects of the topic of blockchain, crypto, and the technology that really surrounds that. And really, I want to give you the opportunity. Where is this going, right? Get in place, get in position, and ride this wave, because I want you to win, and we all can win and benefit from this movement. So without further ado, I'm Coach Rashid. I'm the founder of Next Era Learning, LLC. And what I do is I make sure that people are educated enough to make an educated decision on this particular industry, this technology, and this revolution of our monies. I want to bring to the stage, you know what I mean? The stage. I want to bring up our topic, our slides, and this is something that has been created over some time. But I had to condense it down because I want to make sure that I kind of keep your attention for a short period of time, but give you serious value in this particular space. All right. So I want to go into some great things that gives you clarity, that gives you strategy, and that gives you opportunity. All right. So I'm not going to talk about myself. If you don't know who I am, then at the end of the presentation, I do have a link to my bio. You can find out a little bit about me. But yes, I've been involved in crypto and blockchain technology. I have an actual certificate in blockchain technology expert. And this is something that I've been doing since about 2016. So that's just to give you an idea of why I'm so excited about bringing this information. And really, I would love to help people to understand how powerful this is and why you don't want to be left out of this revolution. So let's get into it. So when we talk about crypto, when we talk about, let me do something right quick. Because I can move that so you can see the whole screen. I want you to see this slide is very important. Cryptocurrency and blockchain, digital assets, real world assets, DPN. There's so many areas within the blockchain foundation, right? And this is not just one area, it is all areas that have been taken over by the future of blockchain technology. And so some people categorize this as emerging technologies. That was probably 5 years ago. This is not, this technology has emerged, has arrived, it's on the scene, and it is changing lives today, right? There's more millionaires being created from affiliate marketing, network marketing, but now more are being created that have gotten involved in the cryptocurrency or blockchain phase of future of investments. So critical. I'm not here to sell you on any particular project or platform or anything like that. So don't worry, that's not what this is about, but this is about educating you, right? And so I'm gonna speed through this pretty good. I'm gonna read a lot of the information so that I don't go off track, because I don't want to make this long. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know I can go along. So that's not what I'm here to do, right? But this is vitally important for everybody to know. So for those that haven't been paying attention, here is a snapshot of a variety of headlines throughout the internet that talks about crypto and blockchain and associated technologies. Cryptocurrency market surges amid threat of government shutdown. You know, that's like today, right? So that's the most current thing. So you know it's happening right there. But what does it say? Cryptocurrency market surges amid the threat of government shutdown. It didn't slow it down. I even heard some of the smartest people in this industry, people that are serious influencers in crypto, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, they have posted, they have mastered the art of attention. They get your attention. And I sat there and I posted it in my group as well, because I said, I don't believe that it's going to affect crypto at all. Like the government shutdown has zero to do with people's interest in cryptocurrency. Like it was just, it makes sense to me. But the person put it out there, like well-known person, she put it out there saying that, you know, altcoins or the cryptocurrency, you know, is going to negatively be affected, you know, during this government shutdown. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, right? So you got to be careful who you listen to. I even have a blog out there, right? And one of the things that I alluded to is you got to have a reliable source of information, RSOI. And in that reliable source of information, a lot of times people just listen to anybody. It's a personality. It's a look. Oh, that person looks nice, so I'm going to listen to them about crypto. And they just give you anything. So you got to be really careful about where you get your information from, right? That's why I'm doing this, to make sure you get quality information. Another top headline says, this is from Fortune, and I found this on MSN. The US and UK are aligning on blockchain, and that's good for the world economy. Yes, I'm going to talk about the Genius Act that President Trump instituted. So you're going to hear about that, and some others from around the world that came before the Genius Act. Americans seek more control of their financial future. That right there tells you everything, right? So in America, of course, we're kind of late to the game when it comes to regulating or putting some guardrails around crypto and blockchain. Well, have no fear. Americans seek more control of their financial future. This has always been the case. Why do you think network marketing was so big, and it still is, you know, in the US and around the globe? Because people want to have a little bit more control over their financial future. So they actually get a second job. They find ways to create more income. They become bloggers, they become YouTube influencers, whatever it can. They just do it all, right? And so that's what we are. We want to do more, but we want to do it for the simple fact of controlling our financial future so we can do what we want to versus what we have to. Real world assets. This is so critical. Real world assets are emerging as crypto's future. That's from Market Insider. These are not crypto websites. These are mainstream sites that are saying real world assets, right? This is a DeFi space, are emerging as crypto's future. That's so powerful. And we're going to talk about that. RWA sector, boom, blockchain meets real estate. That is so huge. And I got a whole segment on that. And we're definitely going to hit that. Wall Street, this is Yahoo Finance. Wall Street, crypto industry says tokenization will reshape global markets. It's going to eat the entire financial system. And that was by Robinhood's CEO. I read that earlier. That was like 3 hours ago. So these are current conversations being had, not me making it up. Excuse me, not 20 years ago. This is right now. Big business is betting big on blockchain-based payments. Wow. This is from Forbes. So these are things you got to look at. You got to listen to. You got to know these are serious events going on right around your money. And here's the last one I want to put out there. JP Morgan didn't fight blockchain. They hired it. That is right. I'm not even going to get into BlackRock and their BlackRock is the largest asset manager like in the world, trillions and trillions of assets under management. And they are all in on real world assets, helping offline businesses to come on chain or onto the blockchain. They are making it happen where you actually have real assets, physical assets that are backing the tokens that they're offering. So it's a very broad topic, a lot to get into. So I'm not going to go specific on that, but I will offer you an opportunity to have that conversation, a lesson about that later. But JP Morgan is in the game. BlackRock is in the game. NASDAQ is offering their companies that have stock, offering them an opportunity to tokenize and offer the tokenization in the NASDAQ, in the stock market. So come on, don't miss the boat on this. This is real and it's happening right now. All right. Table of contents. Let's really dive in. All right. So you can see it a little better. We're going to make it a little bigger. We're going to talk about overview. We're going to talk about some objectives, target audience, understanding misconceptions. You really want to get that balance. Key concepts, real world use cases is really going to be the meat of the conversation, and introducing crypto regulations. And so, like I said, we're going to talk about Dubai, the blockchain hub. We'll talk about MiCA, which is in the EU, and then we'll go over the US Genius Act, the regulations behind that. So when we get into this conversation, we want to talk about unlocking strategic opportunities in the digital economy. So no matter how I frame it, no matter how you hear it, at the end of the day, what is the value that you receive from this conversation or this lesson? The value that you receive is if I have this information and I'm educated a little bit more than I was 15, 20 minutes ago, what do I do with that? What is the potential of it, right? There's an opportunity for you. And that's what I want you to take away is I got information. I want to use that information. How do I use it? And here's how you can use it. So that's really the essence of getting clarity, education, and then here's opportunity. It may not be directly for you, but at least you understand the bigger picture, why people are earning so much and creating massive profits in their portfolios because of the advent of crypto through real world asset adoption. You'll understand it when you see it. That's the beauty of this session today. Why does crypto matter to you? Even if you don't plan on buying any cryptocurrency, you may be asking yourself, what's in it for me? So if I was a investor in stock market or real estate properties or something like this, I think that many people will be asking their asset managers when they saw Bitcoin go up over $100,000 per coin recently within the last year. What's in it for me? Because that's pretty crazy, right? And that's why BlackRock paid attention. And now you have Bitcoin ETFs. Now you have Ethereum ETFs, right? Why did that even get approved? Because Bitcoin showed you that back in 2009, they were giving away Bitcoins. By 2010 or 2015, it was $100, maybe $200-$300, per coin. And in 2025, Bitcoin is over $100,000 per coin. So I think you want to pay attention if you're on Wall Street, because that's critical to the portfolios that you are managing. When you think of cryptocurrency, you normally reflect on what you've heard in the news or from online agents looking for their 15 minutes of fame. Like I said, an influencer, very, very smart in this space, they totally got it wrong, talking about the government shutdown is going to negatively affect crypto. It had nothing to do with it. And crypto is surging at this moment. So you got to really be careful on these things. Yet, have you had the chance to hear what cryptocurrency is actually representing in our ever-changing financial landscape? How it is playing a major role in the future of money, investing, and transactions. Like, here's the real information that I'm bringing to you today. So think of it this way. Crypto is like email for money. It's fast, it's borderless, and it doesn't need a middleman. You get that, right? So you definitely heard about Zelle. You've heard about PayPal. You heard about Cash App, Venmo, right? Ripple. All of these are part of a system that you can use to transfer money from one place to another, right? Our currency, if you will. And so with that being the case, then you kind of understand how crypto works. It's very simple, it's not complicated at all. And so I just want to make sure you kind of capture that. So the objective today is designed to introduce you to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Simple as that, right? Give you some clarity and concerning the terminology around cryptocurrency and demystify. I really want you to capture that word, demystify, make it easy for you, this whole conversation. I want to show why this is the future of money and economy and how you can do some research on your own to stay in the know about this fast-growing segment of our society. For those that take right action early will reap significant benefits as adoption arrives, okay? The target audience is pretty much you. Anybody that's watching, this is for you, okay? So let's talk about some misconceptions, right? There's always people that's going to put some interesting things out there. They're going to tap you in the ear and say, that's that criminal stuff. That's that paper money. There has been so many people that are in the news that have said so much negative. President Trump was negative on crypto in the past. Jamie Dimon, the founder or the owner, the CEO of JP Morgan. I mean, these guys are like, they got the ear of the financial industry, and they were so negative about this. I think Warren Buffett, he's not a fan of it, but he has huge investments in a South American bank that actually allows people to transact in crypto. So it's kind of funny. So let's talk about this. Number one, let's talk about transparency and traceability, right? That's been an issue, right? Okay, you know what? I don't know where's my money going? Well, the question comes, isn't crypto just for criminals and dark web activity? That's a hard no. There's research done. If you look at, there's a site called Chain Analysis, right? I think that's right, Chain Analysis. And they do research on like crypto security and transactions and cross-border, safety and stuff like this. And so they can track any of these transactions and let you know if it's, criminal or if it's legit. They do the AML, the KYC, KYB. They do all of that. So you have people that think, and this is like the biggest one, so that's why it's number one, is crypto just for criminals and dark web activity? No, it's been used there, and of course it is. It is peer-to-peer, right? So there's no intermediary that is dealing with your transaction. Therefore, you can deal directly with whoever you want to. Transparency and traceability. So the flip is, It's very transparent, and you can trace every single transaction, right? There are security tokens. There are not the crypto is actual crypto that has a level of secret and security behind it, whereas there's protections around it. And for some transactions, that's necessary, right? If it's government, if it's some transfer of data, so there's a place for that. But for a normal transaction, yes, you can actually follow the chain, if it's Bitcoin, if it's Ethereum, if it's Solana, whatever, and you can trace it. The other thing is transparency. We can go right on the Explorer and you can track every transaction. And that's where people really, really appreciate that. And so the beauty of it is it's not just cryptocurrency, it's the cryptography, which allows you to go from currency or money into data, right? And that's when we get into the real estate, the titles being on chain, when you get into insurance on chain. Now you get into contracts on chain because they're traceable and transparent, but they're secure. So it's not always about the money, but it's about art as well. NFTs. These are about data transactions that are on blockchain. Okay. So those are some of the other use cases that I won't get into too deep, but those are some things that you kind of want to know. Use cases. So isn't crypto all just based on speculation? Isn't the stock market based on speculation? Absolutely, that is. So there's no market out there that's not based on speculation. You can't confidently say that if you invest in um, a startup on Start Engine and it goes to NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange or wherever, that it's going to be profitable Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But you will hedge that because you believe if I put X amount based on the research I've done, this is going to go up. Crypto is the same way. So so there's not really an argument when it comes to speculation in whatever market you're in. Now, the difference is what crypto affords you is now you can take the funds of crypto, like the tokens and the cryptocurrency, and as long as it has a utility, an actual business model behind it, or physical assets behind it, then you can associate that with a payment system in an actual business or an online business or an affiliate marketing business, and now get paid with that. So now you take the speculation out. As long as you do the work, you get compensated for it, and everything is above board and it's on chain. So no, it's not based on speculation only. If you're trading, it doesn't matter. Every market is speculation. But when you're talking about utilizing that as a payment system, then there's no speculation. Number 3, still early for investors and enthusiasts. Some people will say, isn't it too late to get into crypto and make serious return on my money? It's never too late when there's only about less than 10% of the globe, 10% of the globe that actually have crypto wallets. I mean, is that not clear? Like less than 10% of the global population with actual crypto wallets. If you're doing crypto and you don't have a wallet, guess what? You can't do crypto. So that's why they calculate the wallets, because they can't tell who's doing it, who's not. So they look at the wallets and say, this is how many wallets on all these different networks. And if there's, 300 billion people in the world, or 8 billion, I think it's 8 billion people in the world. And that's, the numbers, there's probably more than that, but let's say it's 8 to 10 billion, and only 800 or 8,000 or whatever, number it is, have wallets, crypto wallets, then you kind of know there's a huge opportunity for those that create really good, legal, legit, and stable, profitable platforms. You can reach a lot of people because a lot of people haven't been introduced to crypto. Crypto is too volatile in the market. Have you heard that before? Well, here's the response to that, and I'm going to move on. Crypto's volatility is your opportunity if you do it right. Okay? Remember that. So here's some of the key concepts of cryptocurrency, blockchain, this arena of the distributed ledger technology. That's DLT, distributed ledger technology. You have the blockchain, which is a public ledger that records every transaction and is transparent and tamper-proof. That's one. That's the foundation for all of the cryptography, all of the crypto, all of the data, all of the transactions is the blockchain. That's what kicked this thing off, right? There's Hyperledger, there's hybrid blockchains. Ripple has a hybrid blockchain as well. So they have to do different things to get into different markets. And Ripple wants to get into the banking and the SWIFT system. So they had to modify all of that and a little bit more towards the banking system. You have digital wallets, bottom left. Digital wallet, like I said, it's like a vault or a safe. It's a digital place. You hold your keys to your cryptocurrency. You don't hold cryptocurrency in there. You hold the keys to the cryptocurrency, right? If you lose the keys, you don't have access to the crypto. So you got to maintain those keys so you can access your crypto. Cryptocurrency, top right, digital money that is not controlled by any government or bank. It is peer-to-peer, right? Person to person. If I want to do some transactions in crypto, somebody has to sell, somebody has to buy. If it's not available for sale, you can't buy it, period. Exchanges, bottom right, online marketplaces to buy and sell or trade crypto like stocks or Forex trading platforms. Simple as that. It's a place that you can actually exchange or convert or transact cryptocurrency, Forex, stocks, everything. So all of that is done through the exchanges. So we'll do separate videos about all of these pieces of the puzzle as we grow. What is cryptocurrency? I know you'll wait for that one, right? You're probably saying, Rashid, you're talking about all these different concepts. What is cryptocurrency? Well, in a nutshell, it's the future of money. And that's what you want to take home with you. But I want to give you just some highlights. What is cryptocurrency? Digital assets built on the blockchain, peer-to-peer transactions without bank or governance, limited supply, scarcity, and value. So when you know that the numbers are smaller, the value is greater, right? And that is really something that's powerful when it comes to crypto and token launches and things like that. But that's, like I said, definitely can expound on that. This is just an overview, but there are use cases for payments, smart contracts, asset tokenization. All of these things really make up what is crypto. Crypto is the future of money. The crypto is that digital asset that is peer-to-peer that you transact without a bank, without any government that has to interfere and take fees from you. But the reliable platforms, of course, when you have an intermediary like an exchange, then of course they have to charge fees so that they can obviously stay in business, but they're protecting your money. Okay. So your crypto. So you definitely want to remember that as being an essential part of the puzzle when it comes to transactions. Back now though, what is cryptocurrency? I think we've covered that. Digital assets on the blockchain, peer-to-peer. Make sure you protect your seed phrase, that wallet address. That's like your bank account. And so your wallets are the vaults or safes that you keep that information secure, give you access to the blockchain. You can look at the blockchain explorer, and that you can track your crypto transactions that way. So very secure. And it's scary if you haven't done it before, because you really have to have a level of understanding of the process, that there's somebody on the other end that's either sending or receiving, and it's just between you two. So if there's a problem in between, then you have to understand the troubleshooting aspect. And that's why you would go through some of the main exchanges out there, like a Coinbase, like a Gemini, like a Exodus or Ultimo, something like this that, will help you navigate any issues that you might have. All right. So since we covered that, let's move on. All right. When we talk about what is cryptocurrency, there are some identifying areas that are more prevalent than others. We know that when we're talking about cryptocurrency, we're talking about digital money, right? But in the more pure sense of blockchain and crypto, it's really the cryptography that creates that next level security that people really look for, and why that digital money that has that cryptography behind it gives you a little level, a better level of comfort, right? So when we get into this, let's talk about a little bit about the digital money aspect of what is cryptocurrency. Think of blockchain as a public spreadsheet that everyone can see, but no one can alter. It's immutable, right? And cryptocurrency is secured with the blockchain. It is a form of digital asset that allows peer-to-peer transactions without banks or governance. It is a new asset class of emerging technologies with high growth potential, unique risk reward dynamics. Some have used cryptocurrency as a hedge on inflation, and getting in early gives you more upside than otherwise. Some think of the volatility of crypto. It's not something that you need to feel afraid of. Think of the volatility as your friend when it comes to cryptocurrency and trading. It is a part of the crypto DNA. You can win big in a short time, or you can go steady and win over the long term. Bitcoin was about $100 per Bitcoin 15 years ago or so. What if you had bought a few of those Bitcoins and held on to them until 2024, 2025, when it went over $100,000 per Bitcoin? That's the power of volatility. That's the power of digital money, that you're able to hold and just sell whenever you decide to do so, right? That's another benefit of crypto, is holding onto your crypto and just letting it grow, because it will eventually do that. If you looked at the history, then you would understand how that has occurred over time. After Bitcoin was created back in 2009-ish, something came right behind it. A lot of different cryptos came right after it, but they laid the foundation, and then others started to try to make it better. Litecoin was probably the first that utilizes that Bitcoin blockchain format, and they created Litecoin and Lightning technology on that. And so they made a faster version of Bitcoin. And so that, obviously came out, and people invested in that. And then Ethereum came out and says, you have something over here called proof of work. We're going to do something called a proof of stake. And so these are consensus mechanisms that I've talked about on different videos. But today I want to just focus on the evolution, right, of digital money and what is cryptocurrency. And so part of that cryptocurrency journey is smart contracts and automation. So Ethereum was the second crypto that actually really started to get the traction after Bitcoin. And they were the ones that focused on smart contracts and automation. So you could actually write into that blockchain instructions on what to do. So today we call it AI. Back then they call it smart contracts. So to me, it's the same thing. But in this technology, it leverages cutting edge blockchain and DeFi technologies. With the addition of Web3 and AI, this has evolved in the fintech industry tremendously. This is so critical to everything that's going on today. Smart contracts can solve the man, this thing, yeah, something wrong with my computer. Hopefully you can still see it. Insurance payouts, escrow services, when you're dealing with real estate, you have royalty payments when you're doing any type of marketing or any type of business that pays commissions and profits and things like that, right? And so all this can happen without physical human interference. You can do that through a smart contract. Tell it what to do and it will execute. When, what, how, you just plug it in, you code it, make it happen. By using the smart contracts on the blockchain, you can reduce costs by removing man in the middle, and it makes things more transparent. Like I said, Ethereum was the first one to do that. And now you have Solana, you got Cardano, you got all these smart contracts out there, which is great for a lot of us because you don't want to have to build that in when it's already built in. It's pretty cool. So now let's talk about vision and trend for investors, because because everybody is an investor, right? So I'm not targeting just people that are on Wall Street or something like that. If you're watching this, this is for you, right? Everybody, anybody. If you haven't even got into crypto, hopefully this is giving you a level of understanding that will give you a level of comfort to ask the right questions and then come into the fold and really benefit from it. Cryptocurrency has grown. It has grown up and is now positioned as its own asset class. In order to keep up or dominate in this new era, portfolio diversification should certainly include either Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETFs, or specific cryptocurrencies that have massive utility and potential. Like I said, we have Bitcoin ETFs, you got Ethereum ETFs. There are additional ones coming on. I think XRP is soliciting to get an ETF on the market as well. So most savvy investors, I want you to hear this. I want you to remember this. Most savvy investors will research tokenization of assets in the DeFi arena to create a risk-adjusted strategy for long-term returns. With the advent of Web3, crypto is not just currency. It is infrastructure. This is DePIN, infrastructure for the next internet. It allows you to invest in crypto, earn profits from crypto, and have digital ownership with NFTs and tokenization of real-world assets. This is the new way forward. Do not look at this as something that just is coming and it's going to go by. It is here to stay. There is trillions of dollars in value in this particular asset class. You don't want to miss it. And those dollars are coming from the major players on Wall Street. So we talk about what is crypto. We talk about blockchain. We talk about, some of these things. You want to know, are there actual real world cases that people, companies are utilizing this technology? Absolutely. There's applications in blockchain, DeFi, DePIN, that's infrastructure, Web3, that's more of the social media, proof of physical activity, which is a new one, proof of work, proof of stake, and AI. There's so much going on around this. On the next few slides, you will learn about actual real-world applications of the technology that uses blockchain and its associated categories. First, I want to talk about tokenized real estate. Why is that? Because this is probably the most profitable. And if you remember what I said at the beginning, then there's articles out there, whereas BlackRock, and other entities are focused on real world assets like real estate. How much more real do you need to be, right? And so I want to cover this so you will kind of understand why this is critical to your portfolio and understanding of this space. Right here it says, imagine owning a part of a condo or a commercial building in, let's say, Moscow, Dubai, Bali, Manila, New York, Tokyo, through a tokenized platform, earning daily, monthly, and annual income without ever physically visiting that property. I could stop right there. If you are really, really a serious, investor, really want to level up your portfolio, at the end of the day, if you can own part of a property in any of these locations or beyond, Dubai included, why would you even not want to know more about that, right? Pretty awesome. Minimum in some of these platforms is like $10 to even invest. So it's pretty cool. This is one of the best examples of offline to online or on-chain use of the blockchain and crypto technology. A variety of platforms have created access for traditional businesses to tokenize their offerings and offer them in a fraction or shares to the public. Some are in the form of utility and some are in the form of security tokens, where only like Vesta is one that only offers, and they have actually registered series, I think series C or D on with the SEC, already offering to affiliated accredited investors, but they go on to do Series A application where you can have retail investors come on and invest as well in the future. But right now, that's one of the examples that they're doing it, from the perspective of, hey, SEC, give us some authorization. There's others like E-Estates that's headquartered in Panama to avoid that friction. You got Estate X that just they have qualified through SEC to offer security as well as retail offerings. You have Lofty. They're like, hey, this is decentralized. This is a democratization of funds and money and profits in this real estate business. Instead of going with the REIT or the real estate investment, route, whereas you can, basically pool your money together and invest in maybe a group of properties or opportunities in the real estate business, come up with a lot of money to do that. Well, and I talk about it on my other videos as well. Lofty has created an opportunity where you can go to the app and you can find and you can put in $100 or $1,000 or whatever and get fractional ownership of these properties, which is the way to go, right? The Primeco Mint, which runs the Dubai land division tokenization real estate project in Dubai, very, very profitable. They actually sold out of all their tokens like within days of launching this platform. So it's crazy. Miracle Estates is another one that's tokenizing land. They are selling what they call Phoenix Estates as well, and housing in Northern Cyprus. You can purchase that with crypto. So there are so many ways that this is opened up to so many people to benefit from. And so one of the things that I wanted to elaborate on here is the Dubai Real Estate Tokenization Project allow for fractional ownership of property by converting deeds into digital tokens on the blockchain. So that's what they were doing, is taking deeds and converting them into digital tokens. And so, however many shares based on the cost, obviously, of that property is kind of how you were able to benefit from that. So that's real cool by itself. So let's talk about decentralized finance. So of course, we talk about cryptocurrency, you're talking about monies. So finance is definitely at the top of the list. The finance sector is a major player for crypto enthusiasts. Previous, when you earned crypto and dropped it into a digital wallet, you had to find a way to convert it back to fiat in order to spend it, right? To make those real world purchases. People was like, what are you doing with that crypto? How can you buy stuff with it? Is it real? It's not real until you can use it. Well, over time, that became very real. This was very difficult with the banks and other institutions. They would decline. They would ask you where you get your money from, all these kind of things. Now, DeFi was able to collateralize your crypto earnings as real value that you could borrow against. Yes, you could actually get a loan in stablecoins, USDT, USDC, in order to easily convert it to fiat currency because the stablecoin was integrated with those systems. Soon came the rise of the crypto card, debit or credit, that you could send your crypto profits to. The neobank is something that is new. There are a lot of systems out there. They are creating these neobanks where you're able to send your crypto to. They will exchange that for you, and they put it on an actual card, or you can, like I said, collateralize it and have a loan in fiat against your actual crypto. And something else on top of that is I just read about a new way. Man, I can't remember exactly where I saw it at. So I don't want to quote it if I can't give you the reference. So if I remember it, I'll mention it. But I was just reading about something new on this front. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to quote it without giving you a reference. So let's not be that person. Soon came the rise of crypto cards, and you could, basically send your crypto profits from any platform. You earn commissions, profits, and things like that. You can send that to your Visa or MasterCard in that neobank or the crypto card, right? That converts it from crypto to fiat. And this was a solution to high transfer fees and slow transfers across borders. And so a lot of people that rely on their family members or whatever participating in expat activities in different countries, sending their money home through these different channels. When crypto comes involved now, instead of sending $500 with a $50 fee, now you can send $500 in crypto with a $10 fee. You understand? So very beneficial to utilize DeFi in the crypto space. So really, really good stuff. And then we come to tokenized transportation. So these are these real world cases that I'm talking about. All of this is under the RWA platform in the blockchain and crypto space. This technology leverages cutting edge blockchain and advanced artificial intelligence along with machine learning with the LLM or large language model to transform how users discover, book, and experience new ride hailing and ride sharing platforms. Traditionally, taxis and cars for hire, Ubers, things like that really became a big deal across the globe. A lot of major countries, a lot of countries that have the tourism, they really got to have a good transportation system. If it's riding the trains or if it has subways or if it has, cars for hire, and Ubers became that extra income. Hey, I know the city. I have a nice car. Bam. Why don't I pick up people and drop them off because really can't get another job? So, you may have family and you can't just take off. You got a day job. You do this at night, not incompetent, but just not able to have two jobs at the same time. But you're able to utilize your car to make money. So Uber became very popular with that. Lyft is another one, but this one is a new company called GovL that this is, I don't know, there might be others, but this is one that has revolutionized the system of transportation and urban mobility. And they do it through an app called Next Ride, which integrates traditional ride sharing with electric and upcoming autonomous vehicles to deliver affordable, convenient, and highly personalized travel experiences. This includes robo-taxi. This is obviously no driver, autonomous taxi, kids cab, where you can trust the cab to pick up and drop off your kids to school or from school to events, things like that. So you can basically have a subscription model to make that happen. Drone delivery is something else that they're looking at, and mobile charging station technology, where you can actually conduct the business on your smartphone for your electric vehicle, and you just pull up, you charge it, and you pull out, and you keep going. So it's pretty powerful stuff there. Eventually, they're going to be able to have technology where you can access a charging station through satellite, and it actually, through this network of future technologies, you won't have to stop at a station. You'll be able to charge it up without even going to the station, which I think is coming very soon as well, within the next 10 years maybe. So the future of transportation is phenomenal. It's the next disruption in the blockchain space. You definitely want to check that out. And so at the end of the day, why crypto matters and what is the future of cryptocurrency, right? We've talked about what it is. What's that future look like? Decentralized finance is reshaping global markets. Like I showed you all those articles and the headlines and the news. Hedge against inflation and fiat instability. We know that the fiat currency is definitely on its way out and cryptocurrency is on its way in. It's going to take a long time for those to kind of pass each other. We know BRICS being, a collection of countries out there that's really de-dollarizing as much as possible. They're not utilizing the petrodollar. They're utilizing their own currency to purchase crypto, purchase oil with crypto and different local currencies with, between countries like India and China and Russia, so they're really doing things the right way and how it should be when it comes to take care of your country. Institutional adoption is accelerating. Whereas you got the BlackRocks, you got the Wall Street, you got Gemini that's going public, you have Coinbase that went public. So everybody's really going to a public setting to where they integrate more with institutional banking, institutional finance. You have tokenization, which is unlocking new asset classes across real estate, finance, insurance, transportation. There's so many areas that it is really booming, and you definitely want to be on that rocket ship, if you will. Regulation. So we talked a little bit about institutional adoption, which is key, but it's got to be a level of regulation before it really makes sense to the rest of the world. And so I want to highlight a little bit about regulatory frameworks like the VERA regulation, which is out of the UAE, the MiCA regulation is out the EU, and the Genius Act is from the US. Now, there are others out there that have some regulations around digital assets or virtual assets, but when you think of Dubai, you think of the blockchain hub of the world. They are definitely leaders when it comes to allowing businesses to build blockchain based businesses in the UAE, and really that's their platform to have a global reach. And so there has been good and bad from that, because they did allow people to come and start up businesses and support that. And then there were, bad actors that decided to take advantage of that, and they would set up an office there, but they were never physically there. And so they just basically set up, you know, non legit operations is kind of what I'm saying. They would have a physical office and they would have an address, but they never had actual business transactions from that particular location. But they knew that the license, they could do it through there, they could grow it there, and then they could leave and nobody would know, right? But now Dubai has actual regulation behind it. And yes, you have to have physical occupancy in order to start a business in the UAE. So it's a lot different now, but it used to be pretty much easy for people that didn't want to, show their face or didn't really want to operate legally. They could just buy a license and be in somewhere other than Dubai. Now you have to physically, be there. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, let me give you this quick readout here, just so you get a kind of understanding of why Dubai was really the leader in this space. Dubai positioned itself as the global blockchain hub with guardrails. You see what I'm saying? So they basically, had to put some rules in place. With over 1,000 crypto-related firms operating, they allowed startups to set up in the free trade zones. These are the blockchain-friendly and tailor-made locations and operations. Dubai established the first virtual assets law in 2022 to set the tone for how crypto and blockchain business would operate legally in the UAE for years to come. That's where it started, and that's how they were able to become known as the blockchain hub of the world. Now, after that, you saw the European Union, because in Europe, a lot of businesses were utilizing blockchain, utilizing crypto, and they said, man, we really got to get our arms around this. So this was introduced in June of 2023 and went into effect around December 2024. So MiCA, which is the MiCA, what does MiCA mean? Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, right? MiCA, Markets in Crypto Assets. So the MiCA regulation, this is designed to bring clarity, consistency, and consumer protection to the crypto activities across all EU member states. So they wanted to create their crypto regulation to get ahead of this thing, give them about a year or so to pull it together. If you have a business, hey, here's some regulations. You got about a year to conform. If you got to change some things, add some things, get some license or whatever you need to do. So they gave them a year to do that, which is, legit. And so that's how they really were able to kick off the MiCA regulations in the EU. So it's established a unified rule book across EU, protects consumers and, of course, the business, support innovation, as well as increase crypto businesses' transparency and accountability. So that's critical. And I think every country really wants to do that same thing. You just really want to put guardrails around how people do business in this space. And this comes to the Genius Act. So when Trump came along, we knew that there was some resistance in the U.S. For entities to do business. And they, most countries, they will create something in another country, a business, a network marketing, or something other than a regular business. And they would know that most of their purchasing power came from the US, right? And so with that being the case, businesses always wanted to reach into the US and do business. And so there was a route for that. Now, when it comes to online business, when it comes to direct sales, when it comes to trading, now you throw crypto in there, and the US just didn't know how to handle it because there was a lot of scamming going on. So at some point, most administrations were like, no, 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 let's find a way to create some rules, but they just couldn't really nail down exactly how to do that. Well, no problem. Bam. The Genius Act came in through Donald Trump. So when President Trump created a team to put some guardrails, I guess, around crypto operations in the U.S., blockchain operations in the U.S., then he tried to give it some clarity and said, look, we want to be the leaders in AI. We want to be the leaders in crypto, but we got to do it the right way. And so he grabbed, like I said, the Brian Ferguson's Coinbase, the Winklevoss twins from Gemini, some other guys out there and ladies, and said, hey, look, how do we make this, good for everybody? And so they did lay down some rules. So the Genius Act is short for Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stable Coins. This is a landmark piece of legislation signed into law by President Trump on July 18, 2025, aimed at creating a federal regulatory framework for stable coins. And so stable coins became the center of this because then you don't get those fluctuations that you would from just any of the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like BNB, like Litecoin. They go up and down so much. And so you really couldn't tap into a transactional amount, whereas stable coins are pegged to the dollar. So if it's one stable coin, it's $1, or it's 1 cent here, 1 cent there, but it didn't move like the regular cryptocurrencies, right? So focused on stable coins being kind of the key to that system. And there's some centralization going on there that a lot of people do not like, because cryptocurrency and blockchain is based on decentralization, distributed ledger, whereas DAOs are the decentralized autonomous organization. Being a DAO means that we all have governance, voices. And so we get to vote on pretty much how things are run through the blockchain in any business. And so that's giving power to the people. And that's where people had a problem with these type of acts or regulations if it didn't allow the people to still have those freedoms, right? Okay. So some of the objectives of the Genius Act: protect consumers, strengthen the U.S. dollar's role because it's pegged to the dollar. They wanted the stable coins to help the dollar stay dominant in the world because of the global reserve currency. Promote innovation, of course, establish legal clarity of stablecoin issuers and investors. So these are some of the key elements of the regulatory guidance that the countries are trying to come together, put some guardrails on how you do business in the blockchain space in this new era of digital money, digital data, store of value, and real world assets. All these DeFi, concepts. They just want to put some guardrails around it so people just don't get taken advantage of anymore. Enough of that has happened, and we really would like it to stop. But there's some strategic placement options, right? How do you get involved? What do you do? What's the best opportunity here? Well, one of the things you want to do is create a clear path for institutional adoption of stablecoins. So that's part of what the government definitely is doing. Encouraging responsible innovation in tokenized assets and payment options. So payment systems. So that's happening with Ripple is doing it. Texacoin is doing it. They're trying to help the economy get used to using digital currency as a payment system. Positions crypto as an emerging asset class that cannot be ignored across the globe. So we know that you can trade it. You can get your Bitcoin ETF. There are so many different Wall Street companies that are offering Bitcoin, gold and silver ETFs with cryptocurrency investment. So this is opening up all across the globe through real world assets, through stock or different types of exchanges that were traditional. Now they're opening up to crypto. Treat crypto as a satellite allocation. So in your portfolio, you want to have crypto, Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, or other crypto related assets as about 5 to 15% of your portfolio. Like, why not? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice. I've taken this information from actual experts from some of these agencies that I've named, and I'm passing that information on. Diversify across sectors. So you have the DPN, which is more about the infrastructure. So there are actual blockchain-based companies that do construction, that do real estate, that do big construction as well, tractors. So there's a lot of area there. DeFi, which is decentralized finance, utility tokens, staking, and RWA. So all of these categories have their own entrance. You want to add that as diversification so that you can benefit from it. If something happens in the financial sector, then you have your staking. If something happens over here, you have your RWA. So you want to diversify. When you invest, you want to diversify. Use tax advantage accounts where possible. So you want to look into that with your financial advisor, and they can help you with that. The key to the opportunity is don't just watch it, ride it, right? A lot of people want to watch the wave because it's so exciting to look at. Why don't you ride the wave? Because this thing is up and down. It's bumpy. It'll shake you to the core. But at the end of the day, if you ride the wave, you win the wave. The opportunity is right now, right? With Team Achieve, millionaires are being made. Web3, AI, and crypto convergence is happening right now. Tokenization of everything, stocks, real estate, IP, which is, information, your personal, like, goodness gracious. IP is your information, something that you created with your mind, your personal information that has developed something that is useful. I can't think of the actual definition right now, but it is, your personal IP, right? Your property. Man. Anyway, for some reason, I'm not capturing that. Anyway, it's your property. IP. I forget what the I is, but that's your intellectual property. Goodness gracious. It's horrible when I do that. I'm human, guys. So yes, your intellectual property is also something. So if you create something and you want to, like I have a friend right now, we've been working on this project for a long time. We want to go on chain with it. It's kind of, creating water from air. And there are others out there doing it, and some have went on chain. And we've been trying to create a tokenized version of that platform. And so if we're able to get to the finish line, then that is our intellectual property, right? And that's being tokenized. So there's so many ways to do it. This is your new playground, basically. Early stage projects with real world utility. That's something that a lot of the digital real estate, programs are going online, and they're really putting it out there. You have other node projects that are very important, that have utilities that they want to incorporate digital currency into the local economy, and there's node projects that are selling the nodes where you can earn while you're supporting that platform. So it's really, really key. Digital oil rush is here with smarter tools. And that really says it all. People call it digital gold, Bitcoin. People call it digital oil rush, the whole cryptocurrency industry. This is the place to be. And you can achieve a lot through these particular categories that I've talked about today. So at the end of the day, right, I want you to remember that, I've been in this since about 2016. And I've seen the good, the bad, and I've seen the extremely good, and been beneficiary of volatility going the right way. And I've been involved in believing in projects even from the beginning, even have a conversation with CEOs and COOs and really trying to understand what that platform is about, where it's going, getting the support, and they still fail. And so there's no guarantees in this industry. There's no guarantees in this space. Wall Street has gotten intricately involved with the real world assets, tokenization of, the real estate and the insurance and the contracts and the deeds. And that's a great thing. It does bring some guardrails, some regulation to it and give you some protections. So at the end of the day, I don't tell you to go over here and go outside of that, even though if you're in this space long enough, you'll see that a lot of the companies are created in places like Dubai because they have a longer history of blockchain business and they understand the regulations and they will penalize the bad actors. So you can't really look at that as a negative if it's built out of another country, because they are a little more strict on people that create these businesses, because most of them are foreigners coming into their country creating these businesses, and if they're not doing it right, then it makes them look bad on a kind of a global scale. And so they have started to crack down on that. So when you're doing your research, what they call due diligence, then you want to check out these different locations, what kind of history they have in issuing blockchain license and regulations. But at the same time, what kind of success? What are the successful businesses that register there, right? Compared to the ones that fail, because bad actors are everywhere. I mean, come on. Bernie Madoff had nothing to do with crypto, and he ripped off everybody while he was on Wall Street. So you can't compare the new crypto, the new future of money, to the Wall Street criminals from before. We don't compare it to them. So why should you, right? They're doing their thing. That's a bad actor. So do you not believe that in crypto, there's bad actors? There's bad actors in fiat currency. There's bad actors in crypto. So no comparison. Everybody has bad actors, but you just have to do your due diligence to find out what it means to you. If you want to get involved in real estate, find you an organization that does digital real estate, that takes crypto as an investment, and you go with that. You understand the risk. You have a level of risk tolerance. I actually have a test that I do with the people that I coach. And the first thing is your risk tolerance assessment, because it's risk. You just got to know what's your tolerance level. If you're going to come into it, no, there's risk, period. You can't just be like, there's no risk, pay your money, and I'm going to make all this money. It just doesn't work that way. There's risk involved, and you have to know your risk tolerance. As long as you know your risk tolerance, then we can move forward, right? So that's just another asset that I have, but there's another aspect of getting into this space, knowing your risk tolerance and knowing that you've done some research in order to get some idea of what's the value of it and what's the risk. And when you weigh those out, you make a decision, right? If you want to ride the wave and be part of the benefit of volatility, then within a very short period of time, I mean, I can give you examples all day of people that have made their living off of trading crypto and Forex, and people that have won, right? And literally just the other day, there's a platform that has a 22-month contract, and they give you 22 months of profits, and they pay you monthly in crypto. And over 22 months, there has been two people that will, and this has been around for less than 22 months, but based on that person's income over the last 20 months, within the next 2 months, they'll be well over $1 million in profit. And that's in crypto. And it's been going for almost 2 years. So we see this every day, right? I know people personally, because I'm one of them. In 2023, we had a series of platforms that within 3 to 4 months, a series of us were over 7 figures. So this is not like abstract. This is real. And then it's up to you to make decisions of how you operate afterwards in order to benefit your community. Okay. So this is where we are. This is just a highlight of getting into this space, benefiting from this, and really helping the people around you. So I don't want to, hold you any longer. Like I said, I had some trouble earlier. My computer literally just turned off, and I'm very fortunate that the StreamYard, which is the platform I'm using, it actually kept recording. So really thankful for that. And but yeah, I just want to close it out and say, look, I hope that you got some benefit from this, some value from this session today. I want to do more. I want to talk about each piece of the categories that I covered, and really bring you more value in these particular topics, because everybody needs to understand the benefits of crypto, but understand what it is. What is DeFi? Why are we interested in it on the institutional level? What's happening around me that I'm missing that others are benefiting from, right? And if I'm trying to make money in real estate and there's an operation going on where I can put $100 and actually earn every single day, how am I missing that, right? That's why I do the research and I try to get on these platforms so that you can be exposed to it, and then you can make that decision. You can feel like you're included and not excluded. All right. So that's it for me. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I always thank you for coming by, stopping by. Please definitely go ahead and click that button and say, look, I'm subscribing because Rashid is providing really some good information that I can use, and I can share this out with my community, friends, family, and everybody else. And I appreciate that. Right. So definitely hit the notification bell. So when I come back on and I talk about, focus on real estate, if I focus on finance, if I focus on transportation, if I focus on insurance, if I focus on any of the areas that you're interested in, you will know first. All right. Peace. And I will see you on the other side. Man, that's pretty awesome.